In September 2014, Alibaba Group held the largest US IPO in history. After raising $25 billion, Alibaba is in the junction in deciding how to use this amount of money and continue its growth. Why are investors so interested in Alibaba? Because in terms of sales and market capitalization, it is larger than Amazon and eBay combined, and it is the large and growing home market of China. It controls almost 80% of its e-commerce online transactions.
It's another miracle conceived in capital markets. Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba made its debut on the New York Stock Exchange with a valuation of over $200 billion. After 15 years of development, the business-to-business platform has grown into a conglomerate covering online sales, finance, logistics, sports, and entertainment. One of the 18 founders, Qin Jianhang, says the key to their success is the construction of an ecosystem which helps build the environment to nurture small businesses.
Since Alibaba's mission is to make it easy to do business anywhere, hence besides the online shopping platforms Taobao and Tmall, a cross-border B2B e-commerce website AliExpress, and online wholesale marketplaces Alibaba.com and 1688.com, it operates an ecosystem of related online services including payment services company Alipay and a cloud computing platform Aliyun, and had a majority stake in a logistics company, China Smart Logistics. The uniqueness of Alibaba is that it is purely a platform for third parties, and it does not engage in indie direct sales, compete with its merchants, or hold any inventory. And because it earns half of its revenue from advertising, in some way, it is more like Google than to Amazon.
To grow, businesses can choose to leverage on or further develop their core competencies. So what exactly are Alibaba's core competencies, and are they sustainable? So what is Alibaba's next move? It appears that Alibaba is placing focus only in the Chinese market in the short term. In recent IPO filing, Alibaba framed its growth prospects in terms of the Chinese market only. They place focus on the increasing usage of smartphones, a still low level of e-commerce penetration, as well as the opportunity for offline retailers to use online platforms including Taobao or Tmall. Importantly, Alibaba did not include Amazon or eBay in its list of competitors. Instead, they only named Chinese firms including the search portal Baidu and internet giant Tencent. An analysis of the environment in China supports Alibaba's move of focusing in the Chinese market. Users in China, Alibaba is able to have access to a large pool of buyers. China is by far the largest internet market in the world, almost twice the size of the US. The analysis using Porter's 5 forces leads us to the conclusion that Alibaba's strategy to focus on the China market is optimal. This can be seen from the balance of power in Alibaba's business in China as explained in the slide.
Now I'd like to talk about Alibaba's overseas expansion strategies. Alibaba definitely has a good market share in China, and China is supposed to grow in the future by a lot. So Alibaba doesn't need to worry about the short-term growth potential. But generally they need to start, since it takes a long time, how they're gonna go about growing abroad. One is to go to the US, the other is to generally expand to similar markets to China, so emerging markets.
U.S. expansion, you've said it's very important. What's the timeline? When will we see you expand significantly in the United States?
We already started helping a lot of small business in the U.S. In California, in Washington State, we sell American cherries and we're selling Alaska seafood. And we want to sell more things. We're coming here not to compete. We're coming here to help a lot of small business, which I think a lot of things need to be done. It's not about competition.
Jack Ma's intention that he mentioned is to liberate the trade, open trade barriers, and connect businesses worldwide.
According to Jack Ma,
Alibaba's next stage of growth will come from overseas expansion out of China. We believe that Alibaba will pursue a two-pronged approach to expanding its e-commerce businesses in overseas markets, depending on the stage of development of those markets. For developed markets, business-to-business e-commerce appears to be the way to go for several reasons. Firstly, in developed markets, in many industries, large firms dominate while small firms and medium-sized enterprises find it harder to compete. They are a relatively underserved segment by other businesses and have less resources, such as sourcing networks. Alibaba will be able to bring value to them by leveling the playing field through enabling them to reach out to other businesses to sell or buy from them. Secondly, the business-to-consumer space is crowded with entrenchment competitors like Amazon, who are able to pursue growth and capture enormous market share through its low-margin strategy, and eBay, which has been in the market for several years. Large retail infrastructure networks also make the e-commerce less necessarily in developed countries. Finally, Alibaba can leverage on its ability to access Chinese consumers and tap into their growth demand for quality consumer goods by connecting those in the developed markets with Chinese businesses who are better equipped to sell to Chinese consumers. China is a developing market, and given its dominance in its home country, it is safe to say that Alibaba knows a thing or two about doing business-to-business and business-to-consumer e-commerce in a developing country, and Alibaba's massive growth in Russia is a testament of its ability. Developing markets have both the high growth rates and low penetration for sustained growth in the long run. Furthermore, the growing adaptation of smartphones mean that the mobile e-commerce will be increasingly important to consumers, especially given the weaker retail infrastructure in developing markets. Finally, SMEs are important in developing countries where the retail market is more fragmented, and it's precisely these businesses who lack visibility, credibility, and financing that Alibaba's suite of business solutions will help the most.
When Alibaba branches out to other countries, what we do are things that local firms are not capable of. We're not trying to take other people's jobs and put their companies out of business. We're there to bring benefits to local consumers. In this way, the expansion of Chinese companies would be real globalization. Otherwise, it would be Chinanization.
From its core e-commerce business, Alibaba has ventured into many different related businesses and has made some strategic acquisitions in certain industries.
Important thing is that we want to build up a company, not the buying company. We want to make sure that our ecosystem helps the small guys. Anything that can help small business grow, we will consider.
This is a chart of the portfolio of industries that Alibaba has businesses in. In orange are some of the more recent industries it has diversified into. We feel that this diversification has the potential to be fairly successful for three reasons. Firstly, their current competencies offer advantages in their new businesses. For example, access to consumer data from Taobao will provide valuable input for data analytics. Secondly, competencies from the new business will be able to provide spillback advantages in existing businesses. For example, the growth of the financing business will provide more demand for Alibaba's services in general, and the online marketing arm can be a channel for the sale of ads for its core e-commerce business. And finally, Alibaba may also be able to satisfy its customers more effectively than focused competitors in each business by being a one-stop shop of internet solutions for smaller businesses which lack the resources that bigger players have. Jack Ma started Alibaba with a clear mission of making it easy to do business and a desire to help small businesses around the world. And along the way, it has developed a supportive ecosystem of synergistic businesses that add value to each other. However, with Alibaba's recent forays and acquisitions, we see a broadening of their strategy and a shift towards directly impacting the end consumer. This new end consumer focus will help it gain a greater hold over its core ability to access Chinese consumers and businesses. Alibaba is moving fast to capture the increasingly sophisticated consumption of internet and digital services in China. In terms of overseas expansion, Alibaba appears to favor a lower risk, typically Chinese approach that can be summed up Deng Xiaoping's words, has crossed the river by feeling the stones.
Jack Ma says that he's in no hurry to rush overseas and believes that it takes time to understand the markets overseas. However, we see that in the e-commerce business, network effects are crucial and early entry may be key to garner the skill needed for success. Furthermore, current levels of institutional development in China appears to support the conglomerate business approach. Key competitors Tencent and Baidu are also pursuing similar strategies of aggressive diversification. Internet companies may be China's answers to Japanese zaibatsus and Korean chaebols.
Since China is a major exporter and is going to be an increasingly important consumer market, Alibaba should focus on developing its core competency of aggregating and servicing Chinese consumers. This will make its networks in China more valuable to the international small businesses it seeks to serve in the long run.
Consumers are a vital part of the ecosystem as their experience are key to success. The system is very open and could perfectly blend into consumers' everyday life.
Experts say the system, which includes consumers, vendors, and buyers, will become more powerful in the future because once constructed, it would hold capacity to create supplies, meet market demand, and become the framework for all market players.